There's been a recent drama that has brewed up as of late with James Aspey involving money and a completely different issue with a certain word he's been using to describe the animal agriculture business, or what I like to call the animal exploitation or animal enslavement business. I mean, let's be honest here, people. Nonetheless, I think these are great topics to discuss, so let's talk about them. We'll start with the latter. So for those who aren't aware who James Aspey is, he's an animal rights activist. He's extremely passionate about animal rights, and he's been doing activism now for years now. He's created a name for himself through his activism, which he frequently posts about on different social media platforms. I personally have tremendous respect for him for everything that he's done. I think what he has done already for the vegan movement is amazing. I mean, I really don't watch a whole bunch of his content, but I have seen enough of his content to tell you that the guy seems to be doing just about everything within his power to stop the animal Holocaust. Which brings me to one of the main points of this video: the use of the word Holocaust to describe the animal enslavement business. James Aspey and many other vegans, to include myself by the way, have been using the word Holocaust to describe the animal enslavement business, again, which is commonly known as the animal agriculture business. And apparently there are certain individuals who are up in arms about using the word Holocaust, as these people feel it's offensive to the Jewish Holocaust that occurred in Nazi Germany during World War II. Somehow the use of the word Holocaust in describing the animal exploitation business has brought up race and religion issues among certain people within and out of the vegan community as well. What I find confusing is that this isn't the first time a vegan activist has used the word Holocaust to describe the atrocities of the animal agriculture business, but all of a sudden it is now an issue, and specifically being pointed directly at James Aspey. Whichever the case, I think what's most important here is to analyze the use of the word in the context it is being used in. James, or any other vegan activists I know of, never claimed this was a Jewish Holocaust or a human Holocaust, but an animal Holocaust. That's the truth, and it's perfectly accurate. If you ask me, there's no shame in calling a spade, and if you have an issue with seeing the truth for what it is, then maybe it's not the person you're pointing the finger at that has the issue. Maybe it's just you that needs to practice a little bit more self-reflecting and understanding of the realities of how needlessly horrible humans are to other sentient beings on this planet. I can reasonably say this is the objective that is trying to be accomplished by James Aspey and all vegan activists who are calling the animal agriculture business a Holocaust, because that's what it is. There's also an argument being proposed by the very influential Dr. Garth Davis that by vegans using the term Holocaust, vegans are potentially killing the momentum of the vegan movement by indirectly offending people by using the word Holocaust. I'll post a link to James Aspey's Facebook in the description box down below so you can read it all for yourself. But in short, Dr. Garth Davis is against the use of the word because of the sensitive times we live in, especially with the rise of racism and anti-Semitism. I wasn't aware there was a rise in racism and anti-Semitism. I would ask where the facts or science for all this is, but the truth is there is none, or at least there was none presented by Dr. Garth Davis. And by the way, for those of you that want to use the media as a reliable source to back up Dr. Garth Davis's claim about the rise of racism and anti-Semitism, then I pray to God he can correct your deficiency in brain cells, because my Lord, you need help if you think the news media is a reliable source in regards to that subject. Another point to bring up with this is that this is a reality. This is a Holocaust. People need to know the truth, and people like James should not be bashed for speaking the truth, especially when their intent and mission is not to offend people, but to give perspective so that these atrocities towards animals can stop. Dr. Garth Davis also claims that seeing debates online, like the one he is having with Dave Asprey, isn't helping the animals. Again, where's the proof to this statement? How does Garth Davis know whether this is causing less or more damage to the animal Holocaust, to the animals in the animal Holocaust? Listen, people, I respect Dr. Garth Davis, and I even appreciate his opinion. And I think this is the case where someone is unreasonably defending emotions of people who have not been exposed to the truth. It's unfortunate we live in a world today where you have to use terms like Holocaust and show graphic pictures and videos of the truth to get someone's attention. But that's just the world we live in today. Clickbait, bold headliners, and outrageous claims are sometimes necessary to get the message across, at least initially to the consciousness of an individual. To conclude this last little bit on describing the animal exploitation business for what it really is, a Holocaust, I don't think James Aspey or any vegan activist is out to offend anyone, at least none that I'm aware of. I think they're just here to challenge the status quo of how society perceives the ethical treatment and handling of animals as commodities and end all forms of exploitation and cruelty to animals through educational support systems. That's it. It's not like James is challenging people to fucking cage matches like dipshit here. So I don't think there is much else to say here in regards to the proper usage of certain words to describe certain events that are currently happening. So let's move on to James Aspey and his donation scam. So recently James Aspey asked for donations so that he can invest in some type of cryptocurrency. People seem to be pissed about this because they feel their donations are being wasted on this potential investment venture rather than the vegan movement. People feel like they were lied to, and I actually understand this. However, if you are one of these people who donated money and feel you've been lied to, James has publicly stated to let him know and he will refund you your donated money back. I don't see what the big fuss is. It seems James Aspey is being pretty straightforward about this, unless I'm missing something. Now, in regards to the stock investment itself, people are claiming this is a horrible and stupid idea for James to be doing such a thing because he has put so much money into it. And I must say that those arguments may be valid. They may be true. I wouldn't know because I do not invest in cryptocurrency, nor do I invest in stocks. All I know is that when you invest in anything, there is a risk that has to be accounted for. Is James Aspey accounting for this risk logically and reasonably? I have no idea. It's really none of my business. Either way, I don't understand all the flack he is receiving with regard to what he is doing with his money. And again, if you donated to him, if you donated to James and have a problem with how he spends his money, then don't donate to him anymore. Problem solved. He said this himself in one of his videos. So that's it, ladies and gents. I don't see the big fuss about all this. I support James Aspey's activism and everything he is doing and will continue doing for the vegan movement. And I wish him the best as he moves forward in life. So please let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. As you know, I love to engage with all of you. Feel free to do any of the 3 things you see behind me if you haven't already. Please know I appreciate every single one of you. I'm the Natural Hoaxer. I want to thank you all for watching, and please stay tuned for the next one.